Just a week and a day ago, the world suffered a terrible evil that took place. On September 10th, a true American hero went from being a future leader of this country to being a martyr for a cause that he fought his entire adult life for, which unfortunately did not last very long. Mr. Charlie Kirk was absolutely an amazing man and truly an innocent man. In God's book, he was a man who did not deserve to be killed, which makes it murder. That is the definition of murder. Killing an innocent man, a man who was God-fearing, who followed the commandments, who had a family, and who simply was fighting for the truth to prevail in a society that has become twisted and perverse in every direction. Yet for standing up for God's cause, he unfortunately was brutally murdered. This is a sad time, there's no doubt. When you see evil on the rise like that, when you see how the forces of good versus evil can cause such a thing to take place, it's a time of reckoning, a time to take stock of the situation. What is the battle of ideas that is going on? What are the two sides? What are we fighting for here? I think that Mr. Kirk's widow said it best. She said that Charlie loved God's design of marriage and children. He thought it was perfect. And indeed he is right. Of course, God made a perfect system. And this system is outlined in the very first 2 chapters of Genesis. The Bible, the book that Charlie lived his life by, lived and died for, by the way. Because truly, people that believe in the Bible are the ones who have the clear-headed thinking and the actual morality that allows us to guide an individual, a family unit, a nation, and a civilization. In the first 2 chapters of the Bible, we already see what God's intentions are for mankind. So I'll start here with Genesis chapter 1, first chapter. Genesis chapter 1, verses 27 and 28. God created man in his image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth." God created man. Man is male and female. This is an idea that Charlie obviously fought for. And then what did God tell man and woman, which comprise the human species? Be fruitful and multiply. Create life. Have children together. Of course, that is the natural result of the union of male and female, the continuity of our species, the furtherance of humanity on planet Earth. Now, that's something that God tells both men and women. He blesses them and he tells them to do this. There's a very disturbing idea from the rabbis in Judaism where they say that be fruitful and multiply is only a commandment for men. Well, I asked them, what about Genesis chapter 1? God blessed them and God said to them. Of course, removing the mother of all life, the actual woman who carries the child and births the child, saying that be fruitful and multiply is not said to the woman is extremely terrible and actually is offensive to women who are, if not the main part of being fruitful and multiplying. So of course, God says this to both men and women and tells us that is what he wants from us. Now what about marriage? Genesis chapter 2, verse 24. This is after God makes the woman as the perfect companion from the man, for the man, and he brings them together and they are for each other, the perfect counterpart, made from the same flesh and bone. And they are to become one, as God says, "Therefore a man shall leave his father and mother and cling to his woman, to his wife, and they shall become one flesh." That is the best definition of marriage I could think of. It's not about the government, it's not about the church, it's not about the synagogue, it's not about the ring, it's not about the document, it's not about the wedding ceremony. All those things are nice. But what is the true unity? What is the true union of marriage? Man and woman coming together, a man bravely leaving his parents' home to cling to his wife, and they become one once again. They become one flesh. That is marriage, that is children, that is God's vision for the world. There is male, there is female, they must come together and create the continuity of our species. That is so wholesome, it's so perfect, it's so obviously God's design. And yet, there are people who have other ideas of how things should go on. And a man who gets up and just says this so simply, so clearly, so innocently, gets murdered. An innocent man being murdered in our time, in front of our face, a gruesome murder, happened in front of his own wife and children, in front of a family-friendly crowd, where young children and young people are constantly flocking to this man because he goes to colleges, even though he himself dropped out of college because he saw what a load of crap the college system is. He went to the colleges in order to inspire the youth. And such a murder to take place, such a horrific scene, broadcasted all over the world, it's beyond tragic. It's evil. It's human evil on display. And we should be afraid, and we should realize that there is something serious going on over here. Now, just a week ago, I myself got married. Thank God, on September 11th, I had my wedding. Me and my wife got married in front of a wonderful crowd. We had a beautiful celebration. And all I can tell you is that this is the way of life. Because you have to consider the fact that single life is extremely problematic. You're looking at either a situation where you have to be celibate for endless periods of time, which is extremely difficult and harmful, or you're going to be promiscuous. Now, what does the Torah say about celibacy? Come together, men and women, be fruitful and multiply. That doesn't sound like celibacy to me. And what does the Torah say about promiscuity? Well, have a look at Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy chapter 23, verse 18, there shall not be a promiscuous woman from the daughters of Israel, and there shall not be a promiscuous man from the sons of Israel. This is an equal commandment, prohibition given to both men and women not to be promiscuous, not to be whores. We live in a society where people are whores. I mean, what the hell is going on the internet? People posting their nudity all over the place. The degeneracy of this culture is despicable. When men and women are supposed to be together in sanctified relationships, where we don't covet other people's wives and other people's husbands, where we stay in our homes and we have holy lives, where we have children, we have responsibilities. Instead, people are running after attention for their naked bodies and completely denying their obligations to God and to family. I mean, this stuff is just so harmful to the human soul and to the human spirit. And what do you think is going to happen? What's going to happen is more and more perversion, more and more problems are going to take place if we don't actually return to the foundation. If we can't actually properly determine who is righteous and who is wicked, who is innocent and who is guilty. Because if people who are living God-fearing, wholesome lives based off of biblical values and family purity and dedication to truth, if those are the people who are getting executed, then we're screwed. So if this story serves as an inspiration to people, we all have to collectively wake up to what we witnessed worldwide. I live in Los Angeles, pretty liberal city, right? I was in an elevator and I saw a woman watching a Charlie Kirk debate on her phone a couple months back. And I was genuinely curious, a person in Los Angeles watching a Charlie Kirk debate, she must be on the side of the college student, right? And I said, do you agree with him? And she said, oh yeah, oh, of course. Even Gavin Newsom, the clown governor of Los Angeles, Mr. Corruption himself, had to have Charlie Kirk on his podcast for the first episode and said, Charlie, my son loves you. He can't stop watching your videos. So this wicked man, Mr. Newsom, gets his son listening to Charlie Kirk because the truth speaks volumes. God's values cleanse the spirit. They heal us. Do you not think this society needs healing from all of the depression and the anxiety and the loneliness epidemic and all of these things? Well, the answers are with the values that are written in the Torah. written in the Bible. There's a reason why Charlie Kirk was thriving until a wicked, evil man decided to murder him. So we have clear instructions here. And it's very simple what we need to do if we want to get back on track towards a healthy life and a healthy society. But instead, if we're going to keep going down the rabbit hole, seeing, oh, what happens if we're a little more evil? What happens if we bend the laws of nature just a little more? What happens if we continue to deny the existence of God and to deny the truth of the Bible and the revelation that exists there? Well, the answer is already seen. Perversion propagates, wickedness prevails, the innocent get murdered. That's not a world that any of us should want to live in. We should want to live in a world where men and women come together, create families, create communities, are God-fearing, do not act immorally, do not murder, do not commit adultery, do not steal. Those are the 10 commandments. Read them. God has spoken to us. If we don't get on track right now, things are only going to get worse. It is my prayer, and I know it is the prayer of every God-fearing person in the world right now, that we all improve ourselves. As God told Cain all the way back at the beginning of time. Cain was jealous of his brother and wanted to kill him. And God said, if you improve yourself, you will be uplifted. You'll be forgiven if you improve yourself. And instead he went and committed the first murder, took out his brother because he was upset. So don't be like the first murderer. Be like the great people who have bettered themselves over time and who have gotten closer to God and have become more and more successful. That's what we all need to be doing. May God bless us, give us the strength to do good, to choose right. Unfortunately, it's not always easy. Humanity is a tough road. It's a difficult challenge, but we can do it. God tells us to do it. He wants us to do it. He commands us to do it, and He will hold us accountable if we do not do it and if we go against Him. So all we can do is act correctly, and then we will reap the blessings. But if we don't act correctly, we will reap curses, and that's as sure as day. So let's walk on the path of the just, of the righteous. Do not turn to the right or the left from what God commands us.